welcome to Scrappin with Sheri. I don't know if you are a fan of sketches like I am, but I absolutely love the way they jumpstart my creativity. And this book that Creative Memories put out in the beginning of October 2023 is fantastic. It's got sketches that start with 2 to 3 photos on a page, and then it shows all the way up to 2-page spreads with 6 or more photos. Now, when I looked at this initially, I thought 2 to 3 pictures, that's not very much. But this is not a 2-page spread. It's a single-page layout. So that makes it easy enough for us to expand that to put more pictures on the page. And Creative Memories did mention that there is a complete the book kind of challenge. There's no prizes for it. It's just to get you started on working on sketches and getting your albums completed. And you know me, I love completed albums, so I decided I would do this sketch challenge. So today I'm starting with sketch number 1 in here. It's on page 5 in the book if you're trying to follow along. If you did not get this book, I am so sorry. I think it's really great. And for the first time, it includes all the measurements, which could be good or bad. I feel like it kind of stunts my creativity a little bit, but it also helps me when I'm in a creative funk to look at this book and get started on my pages. So let's look at sketch number 1, and it shows us right off the bat that there's an outer page with an inner page with it. Now, Creative Memories likes to do this. The layering look is beautiful. I'm just going to give you a little hint. It also uses a lot of paper, and if you're like me and you've got tons of paper, you don't mind cutting it down and doubling it up. So our inner page is 11.5 by 11.5. Now, I've already pulled my photos, and the papers that I pulled are from the Totally Tonal Blue and the Totally Tonal Pumpkin. If you got the little color wheel that came with this, you'll know that the oranges and blues are very complementary, maybe. I don't know. Noreen explained the complementary and analogous and all of that. I think blue and orange is complementary. So let me get my trimmer, and we're going to trim this inner page down to 11.5 by 11.5. And that means on our blue trimmer, we have to go to this 1/2 inch mark right here. It's the first white line on the right side of your trimmer. And I only have to trim one side and one side this way. If you keep going all the way around, you're actually trimming off a whole inch. So to get it 11.5 by 11.5, all you've got to do is trim off one side and the bottom or the top, and it fits right in. Now, I think this layout is really pretty, and I like that they put it first because it's a simple layout too. So our next step is to go ahead and adhere this, and I'm going to use my regular tape runner. And why do I go ahead and adhere this? Because it's just easier to get this bottom step done first. It's not like I'm going to be moving this around anywhere. I know exactly where it goes. And the sketch kind of gives me that. All right, so we centered that. And you can see this particular paper from the Totally Tonal Blues is an ombre. It's lighter at the bottom, darker at the top. I might even want to flip that to make the dark at the bottom instead of at the top. Now, the next thing on our little sketch, there is a 6x4 here, and then a 4x6 here, and they use journaling boxes for that, or decorative mats. That I'm not going to do because, you know me, I'm going to add a lot of photos. But I am going to do the 3 stripes down the side. And when I was looking, those 3 stripes could be with border maker cartridges, they could be with stickers, they could be with laser borders. And I found this border that I really liked. It's a leftover from something I had a long time ago. But I also wanted to do a border maker cartridge on this. So I'm going to pull out my border maker system. And I am using the Rick Rack, the double Rick Rack. It is one of my favorites because it cuts 2 at the same time. And it's just a nice little finished look. And I'm going to use blue. I'm going to use just the regular blue cardstock to go with that. It is just a touch brighter than what I've got going on here, but that's okay. I don't mind having it a little brighter. So the blue cardstock, the double Rick Rack border. And I have found that with most of the cardstocks, they're just a hair longer than that border. And so sometimes you have to just pull the little ends off to finish that up. Not a big deal. It just is. All right, so we've gotten this far. And once we lay these down, our sketch is going to kind of look like the photo does. And why don't I just go ahead and adhere these two? I know I'm not going to move these. Let's get the repositionable tape for that. You can't hardly see it on this blue mat over here. And I'm going to take these pretty close to the side. I do want there to be enough space over here so you can see my colors well. And then I'm going to add this little sticker right in the middle. I just thought this was really cute. It pulls out that peachy color. And, you know, the Totally Tonal pumpkins have been really good for me with the peach colors. The oranges are pretty in it, but I've really enjoyed the peach colors that I found in the Totally Tonal pumpkin collection. It's not just the deep pumpkin-y look. It's got the peach as well. I'm going to line that up. And go back with our one more rickrack. And basically the layout's going to be done. I wonder if these sketches go in order of easiest to hardest. I don't know, but this one's pretty easy to me. And including those measurements, that's a kicker. All right. So we've got that. And all we've got to do now is add photos or titles or whatever we want to add to that. Now, let me go ahead and pull out my photos. I know y'all will be surprised, but this is my granddaughter again. And she was eating some cookies her meemaw made for her. But you can tell I finally said no more cookies, and she was not very happy about that. But what I want to do, I think, is go back and mat these on this blue. And to do that, I want to cut them down just a little bit. So let me get my personal trimmer. Now, in cutting them down, what I really want to do is just shave some sides off and then shave some bottoms off, just so we give ourselves a little bit more space on this page. I'm not making dramatic cuts. You know, a little 1/4 of an inch is plenty. I don't know about how you feel about this personal trimmer, but this was the first tool I ever purchased. Not this particular one, but the personal trimmer was one of those things I decided I could afford right off the bat. And I have always had my personal trimmer as my main go-to. It's probably my most used scrapbooking tool, with my 12-inch trimmer being right there behind it. And then I am going to cut off a little of these too. I really just need to see her face to see her reaction when Grandmama said no more cookies. All right, now let's see if we've got them pretty evened out here. And I'm going to add these onto this blue paper. I think I may have this one just a touch bigger. I'm just going to trim a hair. And if you've watched me, you know when I'm matting, I like to go ahead and put the pictures onto my paper. And for this, I'm going to cut one single mat anyway. I'm going back to my regular tape for this. And you know that I love doing the one single mat for several pictures because I'm lazy. This makes it a lot easier to not have to cut them all apart, to make them all different sizes, to make it all work together. So I like one mat for lots of photos. Now, if you're looking, you're seeing that I have just a hair more on this one than I have on the one below it. Realistically, I should have cut all 4 pictures at the same time, or at least measured, but you know me, I'm not big on measuring. If I had measured the sides, side to sides, I would have at least gotten them the same on the sides. But we'll just play with it until it works, right? There, that's a lot better. So we've got those all down on the one sheet. Now let's go back to our 12-inch trimmer. And we're just going to trim off that excess. All right, now what do you think? I think that is lovely. Now, it's obviously going to have some journaling on here. And for the journaling, I'm probably going to slide this direction and do some journaling right here. This particular sketch shows it coming out from the side, but I really don't have the space to do that. So I think a journal box here would be good for me. I'm going to go ahead and stick this one down. So doing a one-pager like this begs the discussion, what do you do if you have a double-page spread? And I think the sketches are easy enough to follow to make this into a double spread, but I want to show you a dilemma that I ran into using this as a double spread. Now, I love this, and this is going to be my left page, but here's my problem with my double spread. This is the same day, same outfit, but when we went outside, look at the difference in the color of her clothes. This is the exact same shirt, but it looks so much more pink in the outside. So how do I make this a double spread without going to pink on this side? Because I don't really want it to become pink. I don't want to change my color scheme so much that it's pink on this side. So here's what I did. I'm going back with the same bottom paper, the same lower background from the Totally Tonal Blue. And I went back to the pumpkin to see what I could pull. And this one is not bad. This one has just the little orangey flecks on it, but it's not so boldly orange that it's going to bother me with her pink shirt. So let's go ahead and cut this down to 11.5 by 11.5. Remember, you're putting it on that first line there. That's your 1/2 inch. And you only have to cut one side and across top or bottom. You don't go all the way around because that puts it down to an 11 by 11. All we have to do is take a 1/2 inch off. So we're down to this. Let's go ahead and tape that. And then let's see what elements we definitely need to pull across to make these pages very matchy-matchy. Do they have to be matchy-matchy? No. A lot of people I have read say that they do a lot of single pagers, and that's fine. It's not a big deal. I think for me, I prefer 2-pagers, but I don't like it when my 2-pagers don't necessarily match, and that was going to be the case here. So I've copied the background. I've still kept with the pumpkin, even though it doesn't exactly match her shirt. It carries the thought across, and she was in her orange stroller, so that helps me out a little bit on this. So what else do we need to carry across? Well, I think definitely the border. So let's pull our border maker system out again. I had another one of those stickers left, so we'll definitely use that. Let me go ahead and make my double rickrack. And again, the great thing about the double rickrack is the fact you get 2 in 1. 1 punch, 2 borders. And you can see it just sticks a little bit on the edges. We just pull those edges off, and that's taken care of. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere these with my repositionable tape. Do you scrap with both adhesives? Do you use the regular tape and the repositionable tape, or are you just a one or the other kind of person? I have one customer now who uses repositionable tape all the time. And I've seen people ask about the stability of it. Does it stick permanently after a while? It does stick much more permanently. I say much more permanently. It sticks harder after you let it sit for a while. When she pulls things off, you do see spots on her paper where it has pulled the paper off as well. So, yeah, it becomes a little bit tighter over time, but you can still pull things off. You're always going to run the risk of having a little mess underneath. But if you're just moving something a little bit and covering it right back up, it's not a big deal. She says she changes her mind too much to use permanent tape. Now, my flower doesn't show up near as well on that, but I think it's going to have to be okay. I could have put a whole big blue border behind there, but I don't really want to add a lot to that. I want it to still mimic the other side, and I think it would change the look completely if I added a border. That's the good thing about the rickrack, though. It's very forgiving. All right, last step is to add my pictures to this. So as we did on the left page, I do want to go ahead and map my pictures as a grouping on here. And I've got a few more pictures, actually just one more. So I want to add the things that we did that day when we were visiting. And I'm going to have to lose a picture, and probably this one would be the one I would lose here, because I love her expression here. I can't lose her pat pat. And we need to do some cutting down to get them all on this one sheet. So let's go back to our personal trimmer. Now this time I am definitely cutting off on this side right here, but I'm measuring here. I'm going at 3.5 because the easiest way to make all these work is to take 3.5 off, or make this a 3.5. I'm not taking 3.5 off, but to make this a 3.5 as well. I'm actually only taking a 1/2 inch off. And you notice I did that on both sides just to even up my photo. And these two I want to keep long. So these two I want to cut off a little bit. And this one I'm going to be watching for her hand. I don't want to cut her hand off, so I'm going to lay it on front. And when I trim these two down, they're going to be the same top to bottom. And that's what I'm going for. Now, just for visual interest here, I could put a short and long and a short and long, and I think I like that. So let's go with that. I'm going back with my regular tape. I always start with this photo in the corner because if I can get that one lined up, then I can generally line everything else up pretty well. Do you use one big mat for lots of your photos, or do you mat every photo independently? What is your personal style? I told you I do this because I'm lazy. I don't like having to cut every little mat out. So I do it this way. It saves me time. I guess in the long run, it probably saves me a lot of paper too, because I don't have enough paper. What about you? So this mat is longer than the one on the opposite side. I'm okay with that. But I think I'm kind of debating on where I want to put this. I think I'll keep it in towards the center because I'll probably write a little bit here too. Although I did find this cute little title block, Little Joys in Life, and I like it because it pulls that color. So I could add it right over here. I'm not really covering up anything by adding it there. I could go here with it, but I don't like that it's covering up my rickrack thing. So I think I'm going to go this direction. I know some of you talk to me on the videos, so I'm sure you're saying something that I can't hear currently, but I'll see it in the comments when you start commenting, hey, I think you should have put it on the right side, or you should have done something. I'm sure I will see that. I don't really have room to put it there, so I am going right back here with it. And I'm going to pull my foam squares for this. So I pulled out my large foam squares, and I'm just going to add those on the corners. This is not the largest size, but I do like this multi-pack of foam squares with all the different sizes. I think I have used all of the very largest. Actually, this may not be the multi-pack. This may be an older pack. And I'm just going to add that right there. Little Joys in Life. Now, what will I do about journaling? You know, I may just do one journaling box here that encompasses all of that, but you'll see the final product in the video. So, for right now, here's what we have. And this is page number 5 in our sketchbook. And we are going to complete the whole book. We're going to do the whole book challenge. So in 101 Scrapbooking Ideas and Sketches, we have finished page number 5. Until next time, happy scrapping.